Well, it's August 21st, and here we are. The eclipse is coming. Dun dun dun! Some people have been asking me about this, what I think about it. And do I think that it's a warning sign or maybe the kickoff for some sort of big event? And honestly, I don't. But I'll tell you this, it is part of something big. And I'm going to explain what I mean to you in just a minute. But could this be a sign of judgment for America, since this eclipse is only happening over America and it is cutting a swath across the middle of the United States? There's some very strange things about this eclipse, like the fact that it goes over 7 cities all named Salem. Jerusalem, Salem, it means peace. That's very odd to me. Also, 7 years from now, there's going to be an eclipse that cuts across America in the other direction, and it creates basically a huge X over our country. That doesn't seem like a good thing. It does seem ominous. Here's the issue that I have with it. There's nothing in the scriptures that indicates to us that we should ever be looking for a solar eclipse as a prophetic sign. Only in the most general terms could we say that, because the scripture does say that God will put signs in the heavens and signs on the earth. So could this be a sign in the heaven? Yes, but there's no particular prophecy. There's no particular passage in scripture that would say you need to look for a solar eclipse that makes an X pattern over a nation. Nothing like that. And there have been many solar eclipses in the past, and some people would try and associate ominous things with that. There may be some truth to it. I don't know. I haven't personally researched that enough. But there have been many such eclipses, and so I don't know that we can say for sure that this is going to portend something bad, or that we can rely on it as some sort of sign that's going to kick off something else. So am I going to watch? Yeah, of course I'm going to watch. I'm a watchman. Hey, I'm going to watch, and I'm going to be watching for what comes next. But I don't think that anything is going to happen during the eclipse or right after it. That's just not realistic based on these types of events that have happened before. But here's what I need you to understand, because I think I've discovered something that no one else has discovered. I think that I have found something about the celestial signs that has not been found before. If I'm wrong, if someone knows of this already, please let me know, because I want to give credit where credit is due. But I have gone back and looked at all of the celestial events, all the eclipses that are occurring around the times of the blood moon tetrads. Now, you've heard a lot about the blood moons, and we've already come through this most recent set of blood moon tetrads that occurred on God's high holy days. But is there something more to that? I believe there is. I'm going to attach a graphic or link a graphic to this video that's going to show you what I'm talking about, and I highly recommend you look at that, because it's going to be very difficult to understand it just from me talking about it. But the graphic lays it out visually very clearly, so please take a look at that. What it is, if you take the very middle of the whole tetrad period, so if we clump together the whole amount of days between the very first lunar eclipse and the very last lunar eclipse of the tetrad that fell recently on God's holy days. And trust me, they are Yahweh's holy days. They are not the Jewish holy days. Okay, these things are for everyone. They're built into all of creation. So on those holy days, we have the bookends, you would say. They bracket this period of the blood moon tetrad, and if you take the very middle point of that and use that as your starting point, and you start counting out days symmetrically, evenly spaced on either side, you're going to keep going out beyond the brackets, beyond the end of that tetrad period, and you're going to go hundreds of days, and then you're going to run into something else. You're going to run into 2 solar eclipses, equally spaced. And that's just the beginning, because if you keep counting, you're going to find a lunar tetrad. So 3 lunar eclipses or blood moons that are clustered together. Those clusters, or those triads, are again equally spaced from the midpoint of the tetrad. And then around those triads, you find solar eclipses. And all of these things, all these different lunar and solar eclipses, are evenly spaced. Take a minute and think about that. Can that be coincidence? No. No, there's not a chance. That's not possible. It's not even mathematically feasible. The chance that that's coincidence is so infinitesimally small that it's basically zero. I mean, you might as well say that you tossed a coin out into the vastness of empty space, and you're able to send someone to go find it the first place that they look. I mean, there's no possible way that this could just happen. So what do I think this means? I think it's a giant flashing light in the sky, a sign, a neon sign blinking for us that God has made the cosmos, and that God has instituted certain days as His holy set apart days, that these particular times are of incredible importance to Him, because they're the times that prophesy about the key stages of the redemptive plan throughout all of history. The holy days of the Hebrews, given by Yahweh, are a prophetic timetable. They tell us about what God has done and is doing to redeem the world and to destroy the works of the Dark One. That's what it's all about. That's the great story that we're living in. And God is advertising it in the sky. I mean, it's a giant blinking sign for us up there. This can't be coincidence. It's engineered. So guys, please take a look at the graphic. Please meditate on it. Figure out, what does this mean? And go check it, because I'm using software that other people have given me. I'm not an astronomer. Maybe I missed something, but I've gone back hundreds of years and looked at these things with the software that I do have, and it's there. And here's I forgot to say this. This is one of the most important parts. This symmetrical pattern on either side of the tetrad, it only happens on the tetrads that fall on the high holy days. So not every blood moon tetrad falls on the high holy days. So when you go look at those that do not fall on those days, you don't find this symmetrical pattern, but you do find it on every tetrad that falls on those holy days. So to me, that's a clear sign. Tell me what you think it means. And shalom.